Hi, this is Dave for IntenseMuscle.com. We're here in Westerville, Ohio at Metro Fitness with IFBB Pro, IFBB Judge Mike Francois. You've been retired since?
Yeah, I got sick with colitis and I kind of did it in 1990. Well, in 98 I was getting ready for the Arnold when it just got too bad I couldn't compete anymore. So really 97.
And like since then, how would you describe what you're doing since then? Trainer really doesn't cut it. I mean,
yeah, well, doing a lot of things actually. The training business and online training and different things with, trying to raise a family now, 2 boys. But also, we promote a contest, the Mike Francois Classic. It's I think going on our 14th year this year, my wife Shannon. So that's getting a little bigger every year. Competition is great, and so really a variety of things.
Gotcha. And then we had touched on this earlier. We were talking, and a lot of your background with training comes from powerlifting. And how does that sort of structure what you do now with your clients?
Obviously, I have all kinds of clients. I have males, females, professional athletes, high school athletes. People just want to get in better shape and lose weight, bodybuilders. So, but with the bodybuilders, powerlifting is direct, correlates perfectly. I feel because I always believed in, bodybuilding first and foremost is about muscle building, being thick and big. So, powerlifting obviously is important in that regard. So, a lot of what we do comes from powerlifting world, but it's kind of power bodybuilding in a sense because we do obviously detailed workouts too and things that are more for muscle shaping as well. But if you don't have the thickness of bodybuilding, it's just not gonna. If you want to take it to the extreme, it's just not gonna work.
Gotcha. And we touched on this also. You have multiple approaches you take with your trainees, or with bodybuilding.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on, I guess, the person. Everybody's an individual that certain people can grow from doing certain things, high reps, and other people seem don't get a lot out of that. So you have to keep the reps low. Or in general, there is a scientific, I guess, rule of thumb that says it's 8 to 12 reps, usually 28 to 32 seconds for each set is what I guess you're supposed to do as far as muscle growth goes. And any less than that's going to be more power, and any more than that's going to be more, muscle endurance type exercises. So really what I like to do is muscle confusion, a little of everything, way before the P90X or whatever it is. Bodybuilders honestly have been doing that. At least I've been doing it forever. Because you always, in anything in life, if it gets boring, it becomes mundane. You don't really grow from it. Whether it's learning, your alphabet. If you keep learning the alphabet, you don't ever learn how to read and write. Where are you going to go? So with weightlifting, if you keep doing the same things all the time, it's really not going to work out. Your body gets used to it, so you keep changing it up. So that's kind of the same philosophy that I have. So everybody that trains, I use, I have one template, but obviously, depending on the weaknesses and strengths, you have to change that up.
Sure. Seeing you train in the past, I tend to remember you would do a lot of constant tension on your reps.
You warm up, yeah.
You do a lot of constant tension on your reps, and not as much locking out at the.
Yeah, yes and no. I do try to keep tension on the muscle and not quite lock out all the time. One thing, it's easier on the joints. Secondly, I think it just puts more stress on the muscle, which is obviously what you want. So, within reason, keeping your form good is always the key because you want to work the muscles you intend on working. But
control negative, explosive positive.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, my reps are, I think, compared to most, pretty fast.
Gotcha. Like piston kind of.
Right. Yeah.
Action.
Yep.
What's sort of the rundown of today? What the guys are going to be doing?
Basically today, I said to one of the guys I trained the other day, let's just get back to the basics of what, not like what I did was perfect, but what I did worked for me, and I think it'll work for these guys. So basically, on deadlift, on back day, we're going to deadlift every time we do back, which is once a week. For about 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to take it out of the rack, and then we'll switch levels on the rack as well. And then for another 3 or 4 weeks after that, we're going to lift off the floor. For another 3 or 4 weeks after that, we'll lift off the box. And then, so that's the main exercise. And in addition to that, the auxiliary exercises are going to be reverse hyperextensions, pull downs, and then cable rows. And those are going to be the main ones. And we do calves at the end. So those are the main exercises, and those are the basics that got my back to grow. And I think done with enough intensity and heavy enough, and things like that, that will work for them as well.
And then obviously, the closer you get to the show with the guys, they're going to be more doing.
Yeah, you probably cut some of the deadlifting out just because of the weight thickening thing, which I think you have to do that. That's kind of, I think, not a myth necessarily, but you have to do that. You have to do everything powerlifting style, I think, in order to really make that happen. And that's a genetic thing too. I think some people still have big hips, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. But closer to the show, the lifting stays pretty heavy. Actually, it doesn't lighten up a lot. You might throw in, upright rows, a little more isolating things for the upper back and things like that, but it doesn't change a ton just because you let the muscle stay with the heavy workouts, and then with the the diet and the cardio and supplementation.
And now, pre and post training, you said you're pretty basic on supplementation.
Yeah, I'm not a big supplement person, as far as just everything that's out there. I believe in pre-workout glutamine, like 15 to 20 grams before you train, like 30 minutes before you train. I believe in the same thing after you train with the glutamine, and then also in addition to that, branched chain amino is like 9 to 12 grams right after you train, just to let your muscle recuperate for that. And then if you want to use creatine, that's fine. And then I think a good protein powder to keep your calories and your protein up during the day, and then a multivitamin if you're not getting the full spectrum of vitamins through your diet.
Okay. And there's a couple of questions online people had. Like if you had to take your three best mass building tips, what would they be?
I think probably would be the obvious ones. Probably stay heavy with your lifts, but keep your form good. Stay basic with your lifts, meaning I'm not necessarily a big bench press guy either because there's so many people tearing their pecs and hurting their shoulders. So there's a lot of other ways to get your chest big: incline press, dumbbells, all these other things. So, but the key there is keep your reps again for mass between 8 and 12 reps usually. Even a little lower wouldn't be terrible as far as building mass goes. And then just to try to get your calories in. If you don't have the food to back up your lifting, you're not going to grow. So those are probably 3 or 4 of the main things that I rely on.
And the flip side of that, like when you're dieting down for a show, like what kind of things what would be your biggest tips as far as that?
Dieting down, honestly, diet strict, don't ever cheat. I never cheated on a diet once. I thought if I really want to do this, why would I cheat myself? It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like having a bank account and then writing checks all week and wondering why it's lower at the end of the week. How come I'm not as hard as I should be? Well, you cheat a lot. So for me, cheating's just out the door. So I'd say, don't cheat on your diet. So do it right, do it hard. So you can look in the mirror and say, I did it the right way. Keep your lifting heavy, all the time, before a show because you've worked hard to get the muscle. Don't lose it by lifting lighter. And then, get the rest of it. It's all about recuperation. If you get overtrained, your muscle's going to not be as full as it should be.
Okay. And what do you think about off-season cardio?
Yeah, I think for somebody that has a real weight problem, it might be important. I never did any in the off-season because if you do a little bit in the off-season or say you do 45 minutes 4 times a week in the off-season, and your weight's still going up, well, what do you got to do pre-contest to actually start putting that all in reverse and burning calories, and getting later? So you have to, double or triple that? So that makes no sense to me. So I always just cut the cardio in the off-season. I think that's, in general, a good rule of thumb for everybody. Unless you're just sloppy, fat, you have to, keep that under control. But, you're trying to build and conserve your calories. You're not trying to, use excess calories.
Mm-hmm. One thing that's sort of a big debate right now online is the post-contest window and whether that's a myth or if that really exists.
I think it's there. Your body is so used to being sucked down and deprived of calories and cardio and everything. Everybody's probably a little bit overtrained for a show. If you're doing it right, you're probably a little bit overtrained, whether you think you are or not. Even if you came in looking you're perfect, you're probably a little overtrained. So when you stop that and you put the calories in and you start feeding your body again, you cut the cardio out. Yeah, I think there's a window there. And it's like let's say a 2 to 4 week, probably 3 for sure. Mm-hmm. But about at week 3, you get bigger every day, right? And you feel so good to get that pump. Then about week 4, a little sloppy, something's feel a little loose, and then by week 5, you're like, oh. you know, I better cut back on my food a little bit. So that's kind of, I think there is a window there, and I think you can put on, you know, I think you can put on some good muscle.
Okay.
I stress that to guys after shows. I say, don't take a week or two off now. Wait 5 weeks, then take a week off if you really want to. But right now, and it doesn't have to be crazy lifting. It just needs to be getting in the gym and hitting it.
Like lighter, high volume?
Yeah, that or even heavy, like real low reps, but just do like 3 sets of 5 reps, you know? And heavy, but a controllable heavy, not like crazy heavy.
Yeah.
Because your body, you know, is so overtrained and used to a little bit higher reps and a little bit more volume before a show, that you lower those reps and increase your calories, you're going to feel crazy. But again, avoid. I remember Kevin LeBron after a show tore his pec because he got so strong so quickly, and a lot of guys do that. They get strong quick, and so they think, oh, my strength's great, and it is good, but your ligaments aren't that strong yet. So you're a little overtrained, so you might tear something. So you have to be careful. Through the floor. Come on. Big air. Get the air in. Come on. Feet through the floor, Tony. Get it up. Get it up. Get it up. That's it.
Jeez.
The bar bend. The thing is, you know what's important, though, I guess is a good point that people can know that even when you don't get it, say you're doing this, you don't get it, you're still, your muscle fibers are still firing. You're still getting some good out of it, even though everybody's, obviously mentally you want to get it, but physically you're still getting some good out of it.
Training your
even though
nervous
you're not
system.
moving it. Yeah, exactly.